SGL, we have ourselves a third doubleheader in a row tonight. Didn't think we'd have a situation like this come up ever in SGL, but you know what? It's incredible that we have this again. And you know what that means? In this great Thursday night, you all get to experience a whole lot more SGL action. This is the only Mazar, and we are going to be kicking off with the final match of the championship between Axe and Rose of the Portland Timbers versus Los Verdes of Austin FC very soon. After that matchup, we're going to jump straight into the SGL Premier matchup between El Matador and Frontera SD Chrome. Shay and Trigger, good to see you guys in the chat. For the rest of you coming in, what's up? How y'all doing? Hopefully you guys are doing well tonight. So for this matchup, it is 5 minutes until kickoff. Let's just jump into the schedule real quick to see how the past matches went. We kicked off with an insane doubleheader on Tuesday. Two absolute bangers in the championship. Kicking off with EC Defiance versus the Rebellion. Rebellion getting their first loss of the season, followed by an insane 5-game matchup between Steel Army and Frontera Azul. And then yesterday we had a premier doubleheader. Timbers Army versus La Cinco Doce, Emerald City RC versus KC Cauldron right after that. Timbers Army versus La Cinco Doce, chaotic, wild, all over the place, out of control. ECRC versus Cauldron, cleaner, higher quality, more tense, and both were absolutely entertaining in their own right. Chat, if you want to catch up on those matches, you can do so in Twitch whilst the VOD remains, or on YouTube if you want an ad-free viewing experience. All of these matches are in their own separate videos, as well as in the dedicated stream VODs if you want to get the full streaming experience on YouTube. And perfect timing, Stream Elements just posted the socials links, which also includes the YouTube channel, which you guys can subscribe to if you want to not only catch up with the past matches and streams, but also the SGL podcast and our clips of the week. So, first match coming up, Axe and Rose versus Los Verdes. What does that mean in the grand scheme of things in the championship? Well, let's take a look at the league table. Sure, Steel Army are at the top after Tuesday, and Timbers Army extend their lead to 5. But when it comes to Axe and Rose versus Los Verdes, this is a chance for Axe and Rose to get their second match win ever in SGL against a team that is still looking for their first SGL point this season. And in all honesty, both teams have the best matchup possible for them to get a result here tonight. So we shall see if Axe and Rose can go to 10 points, or if Los Verdes can finally get their first win. If not, or at the very least, their first point. Meanwhile, Frontera Chrome versus El Matador sees Frontera Chrome trying to close the gap on Timbers Army. They win, they go 1 point behind. El Matador, though, if they win, they get closer to second and have a chance to remain in the title race as well. That win should keep them apace with the top 4. After Cauldron got their big win, they are now still in the race for the title. La Cinco Doce drifting further away, unfortunately for them. But still a long way to go, chat. Still a long way to go. Now, when it comes to these two sides, Axe and Rose versus Los Verdes, both teams have mostly struggled throughout the season. Axe and Rose have been looking better and better and better, but unfortunately for them, the rest of the league has also been getting better. So whilst they've been getting game wins, they have not been getting enough match wins outside of beating Los Verdes in the reverse fixture earlier in the season. And even better for them, their first win was a sweep against their opponent here tonight. And for Los Verdes, in all honesty, this is their best chance at having the opportunity of getting a point, let alone 4 points. So, you know, Los Verdes has their work cut out for them. But, you know what? They could step up. They have the potential to do well. And when you look at how they've also gotten better as the season has progressed, I'm not going to lie, they should be ready to go. So, just as a heads up, might be a little bit of a delay. A few players might be getting in a little bit later, but we shouldn't take as long as we did yesterday when we had to wait about 10 minutes to kick off ECRC versus KC Cauldron. So, good news, chat. Good news. Ball Chasing finally got themselves updated today, and they were finally able to make it so that every replay from week 7 could get parsed. So that's great news. We should be able to get the full slate of stats in and finally get everything updated in our backend. With that said, we already have the top 5 set up and ready to go, and we have the basic stats compiled, which means we should be able to do the team stat comparison right here. So, there's a huge disparity between these two sides. I mean, Axe and Rose has 5 game wins. Los Verdes is yet to win 1. That says it all. And that is where the challenge lies for Los Verdes. This is possibly for them the easiest opponent they can face. Will they be able to step up and get their first point? If they can get that first point, then they can start thinking about going for the win. But for now, they just need to get that first point. And when I say first point, I'm talking about 1 game win. So the way the league works is, for those of you who are coming in, watching this for the first time, however you are watching, if you win 1 game in a series, you get 1 point. If you win the whole match, if you win the whole series, you get 4 points. All right, so even if you lose 3-1, you as a losing side still get 1 point, whilst your opponent gets 4 points. All right, so that's why I keep talking about Los Verdes getting their first point. That's what I mean. Just get that 1 game win. Get that, you know, monkey off your back. And then see if you can get going from there. Sky, how you doing, man? Good to see you in the chat. Good luck to you as well. Los Verdes first up, you incoming, says Sky. Let's hope so. And Shea Bob's even asking for it. He even says the fans demand it. We shall see. We shall see if it works out for them. All right, so we are just about ready to kick off. We are just waiting for 1 more. Never mind, everyone's in. Okay, we are ready to kick off very, very soon, chat. Strap yourselves in. Another doubleheader is about to kick off right now. And both teams are now joining in. We are gonna kick off game 1 very soon in Manfield. Here we go. Axe and Rose versus Los Verdes. Trigger chat saying we play for the fans. Well, hopefully you can deliver the result for all of the fans watching tonight. As Los Verdes kick off this matchup with Sky, Richter, and Trigger, and this is the worst start possible for them right here. AGD Delight finishes off a nice attack kicked off by the Dark Shade. Borf standing back, watching and admiring the view as Axe and Rose take the lead, 1-0. And Axe and Rose have been playing so well in the past few weeks. Unfortunately for them, they just haven't been able to translate that to a second match win. This is their best shot at getting that second one, and they are starting to cook. They're starting to be relentless. A huge dunk on the pitch. Sees Borf, gets the second for the Portland Timbers boys. Los Verdes have really struggled to get themselves going, and they now see themselves 2 goals behind. Skyline, much love to you, my man. Thank you so much for the 100 bits yet again, dude. Really appreciate your support right there. A little awkward right there for Los Verdes. They're going to have to concede another shot if they cannot get out of this. So far, they're trying their best to protect the net. Axe and Rose are absolutely relentless right now, but that side dodge gives Los Verdes a bit of reprieve. The ball is in the blue half. It's going towards the net. Borf has to pull out a stop, gets the save, gets the ball out to the right flank. Dark Shade now dribbles in on top of his Fennec. Flicks, beats one. Trigger takes over, puts it into the middle. Richter does not go for the ball. I think he had to deal with a contending AGD Delight who was right next to him. Now Borf has to come out again and clear the ball away. Might he be able to get a second touch? He might. Gets it on the floor. Dark Shade. What a save by Trigger to keep the deficit at 2 goals. Now Sky gets the chance to create an opportunity, but he just doesn't get the final touch. Borf does a good job of clearing it out. Beats one towards the near post. Not on target. Axe and Rose should have been up 3-0, but Los Verdes are holding on for their dear lives right here. Oh, that is a terrible giveaway. Dark Shade just couldn't get enough power, though. And Trigger barely gets it out. Gets a nice win. Advances into the blue half towards the goal. AG Delight gets all the time to get it out. But he misses that second touch. Gives the ball back to Los Verdes. For some reason, every time they get that opportunity to create something, they just really struggle to get themselves going. Just not able to get enough consistent touches on the ball. And meanwhile, you see Axe and Rose right here. They have the composure and the skill to take a nice close touch to then take over and bring the ball forward. But Axe and Rose not even defend! And they cannot do much more to keep that ball out of the blue net. Los Verdes are back in it. Trigger getting the goal for the Austin boys. It's 2-1 with 2 minutes, 23 seconds to go. Caesar, are you still competing, bro? I thought that thing was over a long time ago, man. Speaking of competing, both of these sides have been absolutely competitive right here. After a rough start, Los Verdes have bounced back. Axe and Rose looking a little bit on the back foot, but they're starting to get back into this. All 3 players have done a good job bringing the ball forward. Borf on his own and extends the lead back to 2. Takes over after a loose touch, beats Trigger, waits patiently for the ball to be at the right spot. Sky could not get to that ball on time. Borf finishes it right into the middle, and Axe and Rose are up to 3-1. And Los Verdes respond in kind immediately. They have the opportunity right here, but a good challenge from Borf, and Darkshade gets the ball out. They couldn't keep possession, though. Richter plays it to the opposite corner. Oh, that miss is unfortunate, but another miss. Trigger not getting the control he wanted. Delight plays it out to the corner, into the middle. The ball's still floating. Sky and Borf meet at the middle. And Trigger gets it out, but not too far to Darkshade. Gets a shot out, twice off the crossbar. No one there to follow it up. And Los Verdes get away with it yet again. But every single time they get a chance to bring the ball forward, these misses as the ball bounces up in the air is not good for them. And we haven't really mentioned Richter's name that much too. I feel like he's not been too involved for the most part. Mostly been Sky and Trigga. Speaking of Trigga, having a nice challenge right there in the middle. Getting involved. Oh, this is a chance for Darkshade to get a shot off. Gets it high off the backboard. Surely someone's coming up for Axe and Rose. They finally do. Borf comes in, meets the ball in the midfield, and he follows it up yet again with another challenge. Delight coming up for a shot. Does not get enough of a soft touch. The ball gets played out to the midfield. Darkshade with a couple of nice touches to bring the ball back into the blue half. And now Los Verdes need to defend yet again as we enter the final 30 seconds. Los Verdes are down 2. They have really struggled to get themselves going outside of the one goal that they got. And Axe and Rose look like the better side in this game 1. Ooh, another miss there from Sky. Darkshade making his touch count. A lot of time being wasted. Oh, but a good pass out to Sky, who does not capitalize. Net is open. Delight doesn't get it on target. Surely this is the end. It is, but not with a 4th goal. The game does not want to give Axe and Rose their 4th goal. Not that it matters for them, though. Axe and Rose take the initiative. They win game 1, 3-1. Not a bad start for the Portland Timbers fans representing Axe and Rose. Borf coming up big with 2 goals and 2 saves. Delight, though, always the focal point, but this time around, he has the least touches in his team. Borf getting the most. And I think this is where you can start to see the team evolve. They're now distributing the workload all across the board to everyone. And in contrast, you look at Los Verdes, Trigga and Sky getting 31 and 36 respectively. Richter only getting 7 touches, which is enough to give him 10 points. So he's barely been involved in this game. And for him, if he's struggling to get involved against Axe and Rose, I struggle to see how he can get much better than this. But we shall see. Never say never in SGL. Divine Waffle. The ground is a cruel mistress. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we kick off game 2 in Sovereign Heights. Here we go. Axe and Rose with a great start in game 1. Can they do the same here in game 2? Los Verdes, they have to make sure they don't concede an early goal. They really lost control when they did in game 1, and it happens yet again for them in game 2. Sky trying to get it out on the side, but Darkshade plays it powerfully over Richter. Trigga at the back post, not ready to deal with that. Darkshade meets him in front of the goal, forces it into the back of the net, and in 11 seconds, Axe and Rose already have the lead. They are up 1-0. And this has been a big problem for Axe and... sorry, not Axe and Rose, Los Verdes. Because Axe and Rose is bringing the ball very easily into the orange half and in front of the orange goal. Barely any resistance. Someone just needs to get out and meet them right at the midfield so that they can't progress that easily. But when you miss the ball like that and leave an open net, you're only going to set yourself up for even more trouble. Oh, Trigga, you didn't need to force that. He had all the time in the world. Still misses. Darkshade comes in with his second. And Los Verdes, well, for them, this is a repeat of game 1. They're already down 2-0. And right now, these misses from the back are really haunting Los Verdes right now. They need to get their hits on the ball more consistently. Really struggling to get even their car close to the ball. I wonder if the server region's playing a part in that. Shouldn't really. Unless you're like at the opposite coast. But now Blue Sky finally gets a nice big clearance into the other end. Centers it right way too close to the blue goal. And Los Verdes cannot capitalize on that. Axon was already getting out to the other end. Trigger, can he get a 50? No, Borf gets it centered into the middle. Darkshade tried to go for a shot, but he could not get his angle set. And Los Verdes still 2 down, doing just enough to prevent a third from going in. But Axe and Rose have all the control in the world, all the time to get their touches in. And it's as simple as that, chat. Axe and Rose just outclassing this Los Verdes side simply because they're more used to each other and they're able to just get their hits on the ball more consistently. Oh, 2 big whips though. Axe and Rose looking a little bit rough out there. I say Axe and Rose, I mean Darkshade, but gets away with it. Now the ball's at the other end. Los Verdes, 2 players going out for that. Trigger and Sky both. Darkshade now plays it into the other end. Lets it go to the middle. Trigger plays it loose to Borf. Sky needs to pull out a save, and he does. Richter now, all by himself. Doesn't even get the time to get a touch. AG Delight already there to get the ball away from him. But now they need to get back and defend. Sky going for the shot. Misses. And Borf brings it into the other end. Oh, the Darkshade has a clear shot at the near post. No one there to stop him. And Axe and Rose are up 3-0. Sky trying his best to get to that ball off the backboard, but even he couldn't get there on time. And Axe and Rose are looking very likely to win game 2. Los Verdes have been struggling, and it keeps getting worse for them. Borf with the 4th for Los Verdes. Another huge miss from Trigger. Leaves an open net. Nice power slide to get back to the ball. And Borf with the 4th for Axe and Rose. Nelly, good to see you in chat. I'm sure you're happy with this performance for Axe and Rose. Arglis, good to see you as well in the chat. Guy trying his best to bring it forward. Isn't able to get the second touch. Trigger now all by himself. Has to deal with Delight. Good enough 50 for him and his team. But the net is still open. They need to get back. Sky barely does. Darkshade tried his best but couldn't get it in. Richter with a loose touch. And Trigger has to get it out, but it's still not far out. Darkshade had a chance to put it in. Misses from the midfield, and Trigger finally gets it away. Now Sky going up for an aerial strike. Misses. Trigger, though, is back and ready to kickstart another counterattack. Has to deal with 2 Axe and Rose players. And now a third. Borf gets his second. And Axe and Rose get their 5th. Surely that is game 2 for the Portland Timbers boys. As Los Verdes are down 5 with 1 minute 13 seconds to go. I talked earlier about how this was Los Verdes' best chance of getting a point, but they have been second bested throughout. Even when there are big misses like this, Los Verdes just can't capitalize on the time they get on the ball. Borf wins that in the midfield and brings it out with so much ease. And now Trigger finally gets a chance to keep some control. Richter trying to position himself for a shot, but he gets bumped away by Darkshade. Sky to the near post, off target. And now Darkshade brings it out. Beats one, beats Richter. Tries to center it, but Sky does well enough to push it out to the midfield. Yet again, brings it into the middle. Richter nowhere to be able to receive the ball. Trigger has to go for that and challenge it. Barely gets it. Richter gets a touch on the ball. And Sky tries to keep it away from the blue net, but Borf brings it back yet again. Trigger with a save, but it's coming back again and again. No reprieve for Los Verdes as Axe and Rose want to get more goals in this game. But as the clock ticks down to 1, surely that is game 2 in their favor. After winning game 1 3-1, Los Verdes, Axe and Rose win game 2 5-0. I mean, I don't even need to say much else. The story is being told by the scoreboard. Trigger coming out with 5 saves as Axe and Rose were just peppering shots on goal. They didn't care about trying to get a good shot. They were just going with any shot. And they got 14 shots in total compared to 2 from Axe and Rose. At least Richter got a few more touches. He got 12 in this time for 50 points. But Axe and Rose have just been dominant right here. Los Verdes have really struggled to even establish a modicum of presence in this matchup. Game 3 is going to kick off very soon. And their chance of getting a point is getting lower and lower as both teams flood in to DFH Stadium.
3, 2, 1, go!
And here we go. Axe and Rose versus Los Verdes. Can Axe and Rose get their second sweep this season and get their second win ever in SGL? Or will Los Verdes finally get their first win? Oh, Richter, he had the moment, but he loses control. Sky trying to follow up. Now Richter and Trigger are just mimicking each other's moves right there. Trigger back at the net. Oh, a big miss from him, though. Delight trying to keep it going. Dark Shade in his way, though. Borf, though, keeps up the pressure. It's 50 there by Trigger, but he cannot best Dark Shade, and somehow that ball just rolls into the net. No idea how that went in, but that was a nice 50 that just had no resistance. Oh, Sky was stopped right in the middle. He didn't have the angle to meet the ball. Tried to side roll towards that ball, but couldn't. And just like games 1 and 2, Los Verdes are down early, 1-0. Right on, good to see you in chat right here. Rooting for Axe and Rose. Borf has a very good chance to get a second. Does so with no resistance. Once that ball bounced up, it sat up perfectly for him. Richter nowhere near to that ball. Trigger way too late. Borf powers it in with a 59 mile per hour, 94 kilometer per hour shot off of Allen's BangersOnly.com radar gun. And Axe and Rose are on their way to get their second sweep. They're up 2-0. Oh, if Delight had more boost, he would have been perfectly set up right there for an air dribble goal. But as it stands, Axe and Rose don't need to worry about trying to make every chance count. They get so many opportunities in front of the net that they just need to keep it going, keep playing the way they play, and they'll be just fine. Trigger, though, finally brings it forward into the blue half. Tries to go for a demo, but the opposition were ready for that. Finally get it cleared out into the midfield. Sky gets a second touch, beats Borf, but the ball is loose. Darkshade nowhere to be seen. Delight goes to the ball. His cut works out, and he clears it out to the midfield to Trigger, who plays it off of the corner, who's going to follow it up yet again. But Richter gets in the way, and the ball goes in the opposite direction. And now Axe and Rose have a chance to get their third, and they do! Borf with his second. Axe and Rose with their third. And chat, we may have just less than 3 minutes remaining, but I'm going to call it early. Game, set, and match. Axe and Rose up 3-0 in the game, but they might also be winning this match 3-0. Ooh, Delight. Try to get his aerial game going. Didn't work out right there. Richter now. Even though he has 0 boost, he's going to keep it going. Keep following that ball. Doesn't do much more. Sky tried to help, but he's out of position now. Trigger on his own against Darkshade. Ball into the middle. Borb. Of course it had to be Borb. He gets his hat trick. We're not even in the second half of game 3. And Axe and Rose are up 4-0. I'm not gonna lie, if you're here rooting for Los Verdes to get their first game win, this is, you know, a sad sight. But these Los Verdes boys are trying. But as the rest of the league gets better and better and better, their tests become way more difficult. And if you're wondering where Mace is, you know, we haven't mentioned Mace in a long time. His schedule has changed. He got a new job, which means that he is no longer available whenever Los Verdes have been able to schedule their matches. So, you know, that's why you're not getting to see as much of him. And I would not be, you know, I'm not gonna lie, Los Verdes would have been better with him in the team in these past several games, because he has been one of their standouts. But right now, they have to make do with what they have. Richter trying his best to get going, tries to approach the ball, misses. Sky finally gets it out, but both he and Richter have 0 boost. Trigger is the only one with some amount of boost in his tank, but he's the lone keeper. Dark Shade misses, Delight misses, Borf kind of out of position. Trigger can get a shot in, and he does, but Borf is already back there to get his save. Delight wanted to hit some of that as well, but it's Borf who gets the save on the stat board. As we enter the final minute chat, Los Verdes are still struggling to even create a good opportunity right here in this game 3. And Delight brings it all on his own. Shot on goal. Not powerful enough to trouble this Los Verdes side, though. But still, the pressure keeps going. Dark Shade centers it into the middle. Trigger and Sky combine to bring it out. Trigger uses all of his boost to get into the corner. Ball centered. Sky going up for a shot. Does not get a good enough contact to get it towards the net. And now they need to get back and defend yet again. Sky misses. Dark Shade could have had the 5th, but he misses big. Trigger now takes over. Can he at least get a goal for Los Verdes? Center right into the middle. Sky tries, but a good defensive stop right there from Axe and Rose. And as the clock ticks down to 0, Axe and Rose get their 2nd win ever. And it is a 2nd sweep for them this season as they take down Los Verdes yet again.
And it's back to the garage.
GG's to both sides. Axe and Rose way too good for their opponents right here. And they finally get their 2nd win that they were looking for after so long, after so many good performances against other teams. Meanwhile, Los Verdes are still searching for their 1st game win and 1st point. Borf has been so good in this matchup. Really came out and played so well. The whole team looked pretty good, and they didn't even need to be at their absolute best to overcome Los Verdes. They did enough of the right things, and they were able to get enough consistent hits on the ball to trouble Los Verdes.